Thank Welcome to the Nva Day 3 of Event 1 here in San Bernardino, California at the Pierce Sports Center. The Texas Tyrants are about to get underway against the Utah Stingers. We're going to see setter number 10, Quinones, start us off here. No surprises in either lineup. We'll get into that as the match goes on. First pass puts the Stingers in system, and Lavaya goes off the hands of the block, and that's going to be a point, Utah Stingers.
Not the most aggressive serve out of the gates by the Tyrants. You know, good pass by the Stingers to run a quick set right out of the gates.
Rusty Lavaya is going to be the first server for the Utah Stingers. Goes for a good float. Nice pass by CJ. And that's going to be a big swing there for Mountie out of the middle.
Right back at you, another quick attack. We talked about it a lot yesterday, Nick. You know, early on, establishing the quick off of a good pass. Make the other blockers honor the quick attack.
Gian Grasso, the man with the biggest bounce of the tournament so far. Good pass by Kai. Outside to Langlois, reset off the block by George Mencia. Durkin goes outside once again, hard angle. Grasso unable to come up with the dig. If at first you don't succeed, set Jake Langlois again.
Well, he's 6'9", 6'10", right? He's going to get a lot of sets. He rested yesterday, didn't play that match yesterday that the Stingers had. So other than just this being the breakfast match, you know, it should be pretty fresh.
Good hand pass by Grasso and going right back to Mountie. And that one's going to go down. This has been a huge adjustment. Ryan Mountie coming in yesterday had a great day, opposite of Austin Levitt, their other middle blocker. Doing a nice job, didn't get the start day one, and having an absolute offensive field day. We'll see how involved we can get him here today. Good call by Kai Duquim in blue over there for the Stingers, lets that one go long. Langlois has been traditionally hitting a bit of a float serve here. We'll see if he just starts a little warm up with that one. Grasso goes to the middle, and we're going once again. Levitt gets a swing. It's returned with a free ball. Set goes to the big route, and there's Grasso one-on-one, swings it back into zone 5. Langlois unable to come up with the dig.
Interesting offensive strategy so far for the Tyrants. They've run everything through the middle of the court. There hasn't been any outside sets to the pin. It's either been a quick attack or a back row quick with Grasso.
And that's a great point. And if anyone's done their scouting work, they play the exact opposite. Congratulations, Tim Johnson. Not only is that the second serve under the net this tournament, I think that's his second serve under the net. I believe he's got both of them, but
that's a dubious honor to hold.
I think it's a tough one. But if you guys stay tuned, you're going to see some of the biggest swings in the gym from the same guy, so worry not. First set to the outside, and there it is. That's the big advantage. When you honor the middle, you're going to create better blocking schemes and better opportunities for your outside hitter. Anthony Robinson opens up with a big swing. Nice kill for him.
Yeah, we saw Robinson, carry a pretty good offensive load yesterday, and obviously we're going to expect the same from him in this match too.
Absolutely. Serve goes short. Durkin goes backside to George Mencia. George cuts that one. Sharp angle inside the block of Gian Grasso.
Really interesting to kind of see how everyone reacts to this, early morning game here. Everyone's got in here about 45 minutes ago, started their warm-ups. It looks a little bit slow action-wise so far, but just kind of wake the muscles up, and I'm sure everything will sort of level up as we get going.
Yep, nice reset off the block there. This one goes outside. It's forced to tip over the top by Grasso. Durkin pushes that one outside, and we see Novo Romero goes down the line. Good to see him finding some court there after a tough match against the Dallas Tornadoes yesterday.
Yeah, Romero had a good start yesterday in that match, and then as it progressed, he started to maybe get a little fatigued, and he dropped his arm, and his hitting lines weren't really that great. That was a nice high swing back to the corner that was really untouchable.
Serve short from George Mencia. A little bit off the net, but that's exactly where you want him. If you're going to have a shorter block or a shorter hitter there like Gian Grasso, going up against this big Stinger block, bringing him a couple feet off the net and let him see those angles, see those hands, that's going to really see good yield in his attacking returns.
Yeah, Grasso's, 6'1" or so, probably like that. Good jumper, has got great range on his offense.
Yep, absolutely. Rusty Lavaya using that court vision, goes over the top, dishes it to zone 4, and is going to draw the net there from Mountie. Romero with a big jump serve. Sharp angle shut down there. Nice block set up by Leo Durkin. Rusty Lavaya more than happy to close that one up. Gian Grasso doesn't find the swing that he wants.
Yeah, Durkin, you know, he's a good-sized, height-wise setter.
Yep.
Very experienced blocker. He's played at a very high level throughout his entire career. So that's going to be a good matchup for the Stingers to have him blocking against Grasso throughout this first set and hopefully throughout the entire match.
Yeah, I think he's coming in right around 6'3", 6'4", if I'm not mistaken. And you really just see a wealth of experience. We saw him, I mean, in November, he was the league all-tournament team setter. He kind of just does it all. If the ball hits him, he's going to get a better touch than when it came at him. So,
yeah, obviously the floor leader, he's the setter of the team. Might not be the captain right now today in this match, but he's been, again, you know, in the trenches with these guys. A lot of them either playing at BYU or Utah Valley, you know, those programs within Utah. So they're all very familiar with one another, and they're sort of the defending champions from that event in November.
Absolutely. It's putting a little bit of pressure now. Tyrants were trading blows to start it off, but they are going to be just a little bit behind here coming into that first technical timeout. So see how they answer back. When they were establishing their middle early using Mountie and Lovett, they're seeing some good successes. So we'll see if they're able to dial that one back in, find their serve receive the way they want it, and reactivate those middles.
I feel like Tyrants maybe just a tiny bit flat. You know, we saw a lot of really big emotion yesterday during their match over the Stunners, and they're going to need that again this morning if they want to take the Stingers here to.
And that's the big swing we've been waiting for.
Yep.
Tim Johnson getting activated on that right side, seeing him develop a threat in the D ball. That's a great set there by Quinones.
Yeah, and you can see the whole team, especially the guys, you know, the reserves over here on the bench, get really fired up when Tim Johnson scores a point for their team.
If you haven't seen him jump yet, you are in for a treat, that is for sure. And now George Mencia gets his chance on the D-ball. One of our favorite little chess games where one guy shows his offensive weapon and the setter's got to show his. So George gets his chance right after Tim Johnson.
Yeah, Mencia, you know, he's carried a heavy load as the opposite for the Stingers, you know, last year and also through this event so far. Grasso looks like he kind of got caught up and there was no blocker up on that play.
That one's going to be a swing off of Mountie. Hits him back in the head and almost lands in the court, but goes just wide.
Block back from Shmelev, hits Mountie in the head. It unfortunately goes out of bounds.
We saw that go for a point in one of the sets
we did,
yesterday.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Good pass by CJ. Big swing over the top of that block, and now Langlois is going to take his turn and jam that one down the hands of Mountie. Block looked like it pulled off there from Grasso, a little miscommunication.
Yeah, give credit to Lavaya right there for that big dig off of Tim Johnson's cross-court attack from the left side. He was right in the pocket, just took a heat and got a nice dig.
And follows it up with his own nail in the coffin and serving the net.
Too bad there.
Definitely keep an eye also on the libero on the side of the Tyrants. Real Vieira, he had a player of the game performance yesterday. There's the big serve from Grasso. Outside the Langlois, and there's the dig from Real Vieira. Pushed over by Robinson, and a dump attempt red back-to-back. That's some amazing net presence there from number one there by Anthony Robinson. Sends that one over on two, turns around and blocks Leo Durkin coming back with the dump.
Yeah, well played by Robinson there to be prepared for that. Durkin's taller. He's going to be offensively involved in this match, and it's a disciplined play by Robinson.
Grasso with a big swing, targeting number 7 in blue. Kai Duquem not able to come up with that one. That's the kind of offense you want to see from the back line of the Tyrants. Goes off speed, and Novo Romero takes that one easily, and Shmelev scores a 3 route into the corner, cuts that one back over his shoulder.
Nice attack line by Shmelev. You know, I like seeing that 31 play kind of spread the offense out. You've got Langlois overhead and, out front, and so they've got to respect that middle attack.
Yep, good hand pass by Robinson. And Johnson goes into a little bit of a low seam. Well, I say low seam, but I think every seam is a low seam with a block the size of Alex Schmelev and Jake Langlois.
Yeah, I don't think Tim Johnson's quite seen a blocker like Jake Langlois in front of him quite yet, so he's going to have to make a little bit of adjustments there.
Durkin now following up one missed serve into the net with another. We saw this day one. Stingers had a very rough time in their early games finding their serve, so we'll have to keep track of that one, see if it's another problem. Langlois tries to go over the top into the tape and reset by Robinson. Tim Johnson goes deep. Durkin's able to bring that one back. And Schmeller with a roll shot over the top, dug by Mounty. Another tip attempt, and that's going to be a net. Jake Langlois is not quite able to find that one. We are seeing amazing play at the net right now by Anthony Robinson, finding smart touches, able to extend rallies.
Yeah, Robinson, a little bit of an undersized outside hitter going up against a 6'9" Langlois, and he's being able to hold his own right now.
And not only, wow, that's a heck of a serve by Mounty. Coming right back, finds that deep corner.
Yeah, nice jump float serve by Mounty. Stingers a little lackadaisical here. They kind of got to wake up a little bit as we get closer to this technical timeout.
Mencia tips over the top. That's the net by Johnson. Unfortunately, this is one of those matchups for the Tyrants where you really don't have the same ability to make the mistakes that the Stingers might. Jake Langlois going into the net really isn't the same as Tim Johnson going into the net, because the points are going to come a lot easier for the large team in the Stingers.
Yeah, the Tyrants are giving up some height for sure to the Stingers, so it's going to put a real premium on their blocking. And unfortunately, plays like that just can't happen for the Tyrants, or else this game's going to get away from them pretty quickly.
We're seeing some great digging as well. Jake Langlois stepping in and digging that swing over the top of the block for Tim Johnson. And now he goes up to that jump serve. He's waking up a little bit, feeling it, and goes from the float to the jump. He knows he's got to apply some pressure.
That was a nice little hybrid sort of two-handed toss, and instead of just popping it over, he added a little side spin to it, kind of caught Grasso by surprise for an ace.
And that's going to be a 4-point lead now coming into this this second technical timeout. At that first one, just to kind of do a quick score check, we were at 8-5, so they've extended that lead by 1. But Tyrants far from out of this one. Just got a couple things that they're going to have to shore up, find the way they want to play it, and really it comes down to how many mistakes can the Tyrants mitigate, because they're definitely going to be in this one. They have the offensive weapons, they've got the serve receive, and they've got the serving pressure.
Well, they've got to play within themselves first and foremost. Okay, reflect back on what they did yesterday for their success against that win over the Stunners.
Yep.
Okay. Coach Grasso is going to have a good game plan. They probably scouted the Stingers on Friday night's match when they saw, these starting guys playing now, not yesterday's match. But, you got to expect big things from Tim Johnson, and also Robinson, those guys. And obviously he's pretty consistent, so he's going to score their points and be able to do that. Plus, he's familiar with playing against guys like this. I think Tim Johnson and Robinson are going to be sort of the X factors here for the Tyrants.
One other name I do want to drop early on is Daniel Jacobs. Their second opposite on the bench here is a great server and got as big of an arm as Tim Johnson does. So definitely someone to keep an eye on if he might need to get involved here as well.
Yeah, always good to have that depth.
And there's a nice technical timeout point. We always love to give coaches credit for good timeouts, but that one's just going to be the technical timeout. And like clockwork, we see Daniel Jacobs and Ajfali coming in. And Afaji, sorry, I'm going to get that one right. We had a little chat about it. Afaji, so that's number 11. He's got hands now with that double sub for the Tyrants. Kai Duquim with a good pass, goes outside, and Oval Romero into that deep seam. Grasso ready for it, but not quite able to find that dig.
Romero getting a one-on-one opportunity there, and I think Jacobs just kind of floated past him on his attack line and allowed Romero to go hard to the cross court.
Schmel over the float, taken by Robinson's hands. Goes right back to Robinson, swings that high hand. Right now, Robinson is really looking calm, cool, and collected. He's making a lot of great decisions, and many of them aren't as simple as hit ball hard. I mean, he's really making good reads, seeing blockers, and seeing where the defense is. So well played by him.
Yep.
Float, and that's going to be a bump set backwards. Leo Durkin able to make that set look like gold. Nice inside run there by Romero. Swings through the block.
Again, hands got to get over the net when you're blocking. If you're a younger blocker out there, you're watching these guys play, make sure you get your hands over the net. Not height-wise, penetrate over the net. Get your hands on the other side of the net. Block that ball back to the ground.
Set goes back, and there's that size of Daniel Jacobs, but Durkin's going to sling this one back, and George Mencia's got to free ball it over. Grasso swings lefty with the late Durkin approaching to the net. That's a really good recognition there by Afaji to see that Durkin is not at the net. Grasso with no block, even finding the kill with the left hand there.
Yeah, showing a little range in his ambidextrousness there, going lefty. Not the prettiest attack, but a point nonetheless, Nick.
Absolutely, take where you get them. Love it now with the float. That D-ball from Mencia. Afaji tries to find the hand dig, not able to.
Sure, the Stingers are pretty happy to see Mencia be effective early on in this game. He's a bit of a slow starter, and being that this is a 9 a.m. match on the third day of competition, I'm sure they're going to be excited that he's hitting at a pretty good clip right now.
Yep. Romero with a big swing. That's going to be Robinson laying one back up for Grasso. Huge approach line, able to get a good swing. And now Langlois going to free ball this over. A dump attempt from Afaji there, but Langlois was all over that one.
Afaji's back row, so as soon as that dig, broke the plane of the net, Langlois, all 6'10" of him, was right there ready to throw it back down.
Romero sends that one long. Tyrant still in striking distance, down by just 4. Daniel Jacobs, a very, very aggressive server, likes to go straight down the line. I would say that Jake Langlois is about to be the target. Just misses.
Well said, Nick.
Rusty Lavaya, a float server, also likes to go straight down that line, but you've got Real Vieira there, so might bring that one cross court, see if you can hit a front row outside. Grasso swings and gets a tool off the hands of middle blocker Shmelev there. And this is one thing we talk about, how the game progresses. The Stingers kind of had a slow serving start a couple times throughout this event, but the Tyrants also had a slow blocking start. We saw them need to make some adjustments against the Stingers or the Stunners yesterday. So we'll see if they're able to do that, because right now they've got a lot of holes on some of the lower swings. Like George Mencia are blocks. Those are block touches that they're going to get much more often than, say, a Jake Langlois block touch. So they need to find them where they can to slow it down. Leo Durkin now with the float. Good pass by Grasso outside to Robinson. Nice roll shot off the high hands there of Mencia. Duquem goes outside to Langlois with the chop down the line. Bump set, and there's Robinson working at a new angle altogether. Really can't say enough about him. Number 1 right now, Anthony Robinson, is having a great match for himself.
Yeah, really taking the heavy offensive load for the Tyrants so far, in this first set, and producing some good points for him.
Langlois with a back one quick attack, puts himself in system with a great platform pass. For those of you that don't know, Jake Langlois hit a 9-inch growth spurt going into BYU and decided that he was going to start trying out for new sports, and picked up volleyball only at college at one of the best NCAA programs in the country.
Wow, I didn't know that story. And then he's gone on to play for the USA national team. He's had a nice career overseas.
Yep.
Wow.
He was trained to pass by Taylor Sander himself while they were at BYU together. Learned a lot about hitting from Ben Patch as well. Tip over the top by Shmelev, picked up by Grasso from middle back. Robinson once again the go-to, off dug by Romero. And there's the huge block that they've been looking for. Lovett makes the move to the angle. That's what we've been talking about.
Yeah, maybe the Tyrants just needed to get a block. That was a well-formed block against Romero. We saw Romero struggle a little bit yesterday against those well-formed blocks. He likes having a block that's got some holes in it, but That time it was a nice stuff down by the Tyrants.
Durkin swings that one, sends that one all across the net. And there's going to be a net there, but another block touch.
Net violation by Jacobs, unfortunately, as that ball was pursuable. But he kind of got it, I think, with his jersey on the way down. And now we're at set point for the Stingers, Nick.
Grosso sprays that one a bit wide. Robinson's going to step close. Over his shoulder, finds a swing.
Nice adjustment by Robinson, taking out the trash a little bit there. Not the best offensive setup, but he was able to manufacture a side out for his team. And now his chance to score some points from the inline.
Goes after Romero, tight pass, but Durkin's got Rusty Lavaya there, and we're seeing that inability once again to get over the net.
Yeah, that serve was just not nearly tough enough to score any points or even get the Stingers out of system. That was a bit of a lollipop serve, and Stingers took full advantage of it.
Yeah, so I mean, to kind of look back at where we're at though, gets to a 25-21 win for the Stingers. Certainly a good win, and but we're seeing things that both sides can make some nice adjustments on. Stingers playing, I think, a bit more consistent across the board, but we'll see them kind of up that service pressure and a little bit of the consistency. But on the side of the Tyrants, right now I think you can be pretty optimistic if you're a Tyrants fan, because I see a variety of ways for them to get back into this match that are pretty fixable, especially as you bring it back together as a team right now.
Yeah, it's not that they didn't play bad at all. You know, 2 balls that they did, the blockers just got to get over the net. Really, other than that, I mean, maybe one ace. I mean, I can't remember how they got those 4-point leads, but they really were right there for the Tyrants. And you see some emotion kind of get created when they blocked a ball or got a big kill. You know, a couple more points out of Tim Johnson that'll really help their cause.
Yeah.
And then for the Stingers, you know, they started to up the gear a little bit there about midway through that first set, and you can see the breakfast is starting to kick in, the coffee's hitting the bloodstream. So.
Yeah, on the side of the Tyrants, what I'm really looking at is it felt like if you make a net violation on the side of the Stingers, we saw Jake Langlois get one there. We saw 2 or 3 for the Tyrants. And so when you kind of had that little disparity of, for every one small mistake the Stingers made, the Tyrants might have made that mistake twice.
Yeah.
And so if they're able to make those adjustments, I think we're going to be maybe seeing, points go past 25 on these games. But Mountie in the middle, having a great offensive start. Both of these teams definitely relying on their middles at the beginning of that, and that kind of tapered off. I think on the side of the Tyrants, they're having a little bit of a conversation right now about the passing. They need to be shoring that one up a little bit.
Yeah.
Even if you're going to just put it high in the middle of the court, keep it going forward. Don't be forcing Robinson to clean up the trash so much. I think he really outperformed any expectations there. That was a pretty outstanding effort.
So, yeah, serve reception, serve receive for the Tyrants has got to be a premium, right, in order to run a well-balanced offense. They did a good job establishing the middle early on and then going, away from them as the game went forward. But I think the serving from the Stingers also leveled up as well.
Yeah.
And it put that pass pressure back onto the Tyrants that they weren't quite ready to maintain.
And it's one of those things that, there's so many float servers here on the side of the Stingers. And if you've got a guy that knows how to hit his float serve, that really is something that's difficult to get a number on. They have very few jump servers, and Novo Romero is exceptionally consistent with his. But besides him, Jake Langlois occasionally, like you said, hits that hybrid. But as far as I can remember, everyone else is hitting a float serve. I know Durkin, both middles, and Lavaya and Snellev.
In today's game, when the jump serve, there's such a premium on a hard jump spin serve from the inline to kind of do a complete flip-flop. And instead of having one guy doing a jump float, now you've got one guy doing a hard spin serve and everybody else is doing a jump floats. I think it kind of, throws the Tyrants off a little bit in terms of their serve reception.
Certainly, and I think George Mencia is the only one that also does kind of that audible between a float or a jump, depending on what he's feeling or what he's seeing. So,
yeah.
All that being said, the Stingers are going to opt for rotating a Novo Romero as their first server.
Very little interesting spin of the dial here. Probably trying to get some matchups, block and defense-wise that, coaching staff saw from that first set.
It looks like Grosso made a good read, though, so he's got Robinson front row to handle Langlois, so he got the matchup right on his side as well. Good pass by Real Vieira. That one goes backside, and Grosso gets the one-on-one against Langlois and beats him. Great job by Mounty to be able to pull the blocker on the front side. Rusty Levaya unable to make the move to the left, but that speaks volumes to the passing we're seeing from Real Vieira.
Yeah, absolutely. Give credit to him 100% for that side out, because that was a perfect pass.
Grosso goes back and once again putting the pressure on number 7 with the serve. Kai, that's going to be the second time he's aced this match by Grosso alone.
Yeah,
so
fun to watch kind of the libero versus libero, game within the game here. Right now, the Tyrants, their liberos may be outperforming the Stingers libero.
Jake Langlois on the ground. Durkin's not going to have a lot of options. Airs it out, and Langlois gets back up. You love to see that athleticism.
Yeah.
Lays out, it's a great pass.
It helps to be 6'10". He's seen 3 blockers in front of him on that swing. He's been seeing that for a long time, especially playing internationally and at the highest levels around the world and with the national team. So he's not afraid of 3 blockers at any time.
Real Vieira overpasses that one, not quite able to find his footing. And that's going to be Shmelev cleaning up the trash on the net. Bangs that one into the deep corner for a point, tying us up at 2. Levaya's had some good pressure here with his serves, created some little runs, got some good defense as well.
Yeah, it's got some nice movement on his jump float, as long as it makes it over the net.
But once again, this is when we see the Tyrants at their very best. When Real Vieira is able to put that tight pass on the net, you see Quinones running the offense that he wants, backside to Tim Johnson, and he's one-on-one, still hitting that deep corner.
Yeah, and you can hear the emotion from Texas Tyrants for sure, trying to kind of get excited about what's happening here in this second set.
Dig off the ceiling, it's tracked down by Johnson, called for a double. Off the ceiling, you've got to keep that alive, even if it's using your platform. No reason to take that with your hands.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. Poor choice right there. Just, bump the ball up. No reason to hand set it. Free ball it over if you have to, but.
Durkin now with the float, taken in the hands by Grosso, backside, and Johnson gets the high swing off. Langlois able to pull that one back, chipped in by Romero. Huge swing now deep by Johnson once again. Kai is tracking it down, gets the pancake, but not able to get that third touch over. I love to see that hustle. Kai not letting that one go down without the effort, and Durkin right in tow.
Yeah, great hustle there, unfortunately. Not able to return it over the net, but taking full use of this great gym that we have here with a lot of space on the inlines.
Absolutely. Big shout out to the Pierce Sports Center here in San Bernardino, California, hosting us all weekend long. And there's another net by the side of the Tyrants. Want to see that one cleaned up.
Yeah, they really got to get themselves on point with their blocking. I think that's maybe the 3rd or 4th net violation so far in this match, and we're pretty early into it, so we'll tighten that up a little bit.
Langlois the deep float. Grosso with the bump set out to Robinson. And Robinson once again shows that out of system is his in system. A nice step close, finds that low seam and attacks Duquem there in the back row with a very aggressive swing. That's a good float. It's going to get a 50-50. Nicely done by Lovett. Durkin not able to get off the ground as he is a back row setter right now. Good identification, and Lovett throws it right back at him. That's a nice adjustment from the last float serve at the end of the game.
Yep.
A little bit too easy from Robinson. Comes back.
Yeah, you got to get that serve going between the top of the antenna and the top of the net.
Yep.
Anything higher than the antenna is just going to be way too easy for any passer in this league.
Any passer will be able to get their hands on that float serve, and they're going to be right in system. Tyrants now with the lead, though, so they're 6-5 is not a bad spot to be. See if they can be the first one to 8. Shmelev with a good float. Back set to Johnson there. And there's the productivity we want to see out of the D-ball.
Yeah, nice adjustment by Johnson. He got his feet to the ball. Again, if this is the first time you're seeing Tim Johnson play volleyball, he can fly. We said it a lot of times yesterday. The kid can jump out of the gym. So really, as long as the set is high enough, he's going to be able to jump and spike it.
Yeah, and that was a great effort by Quinones to bump set that over his head backwards. And that one goes deep. Once again, we're seeing a little bit of a commonality here. Maybe, Grosso makes sure that his guys are one of the most disciplined serving teams, that they know their target, they know who they want to hit, And right now, I think that conversation is serve the libero.
Yeah, it seems to be working out for him pretty well. I think Kai kind of charged in on that one, and the serve kind of rose up and kind of stayed up high on his kind of bicep shoulder area, so he couldn't quite get his platform behind it. But we're still real early on, you know, but I like the response by the Tyrants after losing that first set. They've earned a 3-point lead, you know, based off some good serving. You know, they've made some nice adjustments so far in this second set.
Yeah, they definitely have. And real quick, I do want to shout out, we kind of mentioned it, but we're here at the Pierce Sports Center out in San Bernardino, California, and the host club is the Rancho Valley Volleyball Club. Make sure to check them out if you're looking to get some of your youth players involved, maybe make an introduction into the sport. They're running an 8-week program that begins on April 28th, runs into June. So if you haven't yet had an opportunity to start playing volleyball, you're getting excited from what you're seeing this weekend, make sure to go to RanchoValleyVolleyballClub.com and check them out. Also want to say a huge thank you to Mikasa, the proud ball sponsor of the Nva. Always the best product for us to be using out here, and a huge thank you to them for supporting the Nva. We're getting right back into it now. We're going to see Lovett seeing if he can make some more magic happen with this float serve. Langlois is not going to be beat on that one, and he goes right back with the big attack. And to bring back to your point there, that's going to be just too easy of a float serve to go that high right into the hands of Jake Langlois. He's seen way harder, you know, playing in the World Cup.
Yeah, I like the combo that Durkin and Langlois are doing. If Langlois is passing the ball short, he's actually setting him right away.
Yes.
Keeps him in system too.
Yep, I'd love to see that. George goes for that jump serve now. Robinson puts it up in the middle of the court. Grosso with the off speed, dug by Romero. And George swings into the corner, dug by Johnson. Robinson picking on Kai once again. You know, that's a tough dig as it is, going to his left.
Yeah.
But that's a great controlled swing coming out at #1 from the back row attack. A nice bump set there by Real Vieira. And the Tyrants are finding a way to hold on to this 3-point lead.
Yeah, if I'm the coaching staff at the Stingers, I may be considering a libero change.
Chandler Baugh is certainly no one to scoff at.
Yeah.
Rusty Levias squeaks that one over the net through the hands of Mountie.
The Stingers not playing the cleanest volleyball right now. Even in that first set, you know, with the 4-point win that they had, not the cleanest volleyball we've seen. Again, the Tyrants making the adjustments. It's time for the Stingers to kind of flip-flop and make a few adjustments of their own. I'm
taking a quick look down the line, though, and I'm seeing that Chandler Baugh is not wearing blue, so I don't think he's listed as another libero, and I'm not sure that they can add him to that mid-game.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
That's one of those FIVB libero rules that I get a little hazy on, how you assign liberos at the beginning of the match and if they can switch or not. Because I know you can't stop being a libero, but I don't know if you can add one mid-match.
Just depends on what the roster says. You know, we don't have the official lineups, and if Baugh is listed as a libero,
right, he can swap over.
Yeah, he could probably become a libero between sets. I'm not really sure. Unfortunately, I don't know the rule either. You can employ the 2 libero system at any time.
Yes.
So you would think he'd be able to do so, but he's got to have the blue or the green jersey on, in order to fill that role, which he doesn't have right now. He's got the yellow jersey on.
So we see 9-10 now. Rusty Levias once again putting together one of those really good runs that he's been able to do all day long. Real Vieira gets a pass that goes back to Johnson. That high swing gets the touch. Catches, I believe, the hands of Rusty Levias kind of going back there.
Yeah, one of those times when the middle blocker shouldn't be in the back row. Tried to maybe earn a dig that was going out of bounds. He's a little frustrated with that. But nice swing by Tim Johnson.
Mountie with a great float serve. George Mencia goes into that angle, dug by Grosso high. Reset by Quinones. Step close from Grosso, chip over the top. And this one's going to go to the outside. Langlois blocked into the angle. That's a monster block effort there from the side of Lovett and Tim Johnson.
Tim Johnson giving Langlois a quick stuff down. So this is how we do it here in Texas. Just because we're not in Tokyo or Germany doesn't mean I can't block you too.
Yep, and there's a reset. Durkin is front row. Lost track of him a little bit. He tried to dump that. Great heads-up play by Robinson, but everyone started talking about back row hands, and they didn't realize that he was, in fact, front row. Durkin takes full advantage of that and throws it down shortly after, ending the point for Stingers.
Langlois jump setting.
Yeah.
Adds a nice touch to that one.
Lovett not finding that one over the net.
Yeah, that connection's got to get shored up a little bit. That set was a little low for Lovett. Stingers kind of creating a little momentum run here, bringing it back to within one.
Back set to Johnson, goes over the top, but dug by Romero. Langlois gets a touch on his swing as well, and goes right back to Johnson, uses the high hand, and now we're seeing the size and aggressiveness of Johnson being utilized to start slowing down Langlois on the outside. Double block, or the double sub will be used now. Afaji comes in to serve, and Daniel Jacobs comes in to replace setter Quinones.
You know, I like seeing this double sub, although for the Tyrants, I don't necessarily like seeing Tim Johnson go out through the back row. He's a bit of their, you know, kind of firecracker, you know, spark plug. When he gets a kill, he does something good, the team celebrates. That helps for sure.
But Afaji comes off the bench, drops it short, and attacks Langlois and gets the ace there. And like you said, serving Langlois short has been a bit of a risky play so far, because if he takes that and gets in system, he's going to be getting the set here. Mencia tries to cut that one wide, gets the hand there of Daniel Jacobs.
Yeah, off the block there. No look down the line by Mencia. He's got that cagey shot. Jacobs has got to get that hand tighter over the net.
Langlois' aggressive toss goes for a float, though. And Jacobs buries it. And I understand your concern with potentially switching Johnson out, but keeping a front row oppo with as much firepower as Jacobs brings to the court, certainly no problems there.
I do like doing the double sub in the middle of the set, which is what Coach Grasso's doing here, because you know you're going to get Johnson to come back in and probably just stay with that rotation throughout the ending of this set.
Shmelev tries to put that one, and we talk about middles not quite having that connection. We see the same thing. So, you know, that error we saw from Lovett there, able to be counteracted with Shmelev kind of replicating the same mistake.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Stingers, you know, losing that connection in the middle with Shmelev. Levaya and Durkin have gotten it a little bit more dialed in. Shmelev, you know, needs to find it. Durkin didn't play in yesterday's match either.
Right.
He started, but only played about halfway through the first set, and then, you know, kind of came out. So there's a little connection issue there. But give credit to the Tyrants now, developing a 4-point lead. First one is 16 for this technical timeout, really putting up a good response from that first set loss. You know, the real question is, can they maintain it?
Yeah, and you know, I mentioned it yesterday, and I'm doubling down on it today. It is impressive to me how much I think the name Tyrants, just regardless of who's on the team or whether they're in Tennessee or they're in Texas, we see a play style that is almost identical. The ability to scrap. They utilize their out-of-system pins. They find that physical, young, athletic kind of player that is willing to just go hit the ball and hit the ball hard.
Yeah, and we did talk about it yesterday. These guys are training really hard. They're spending a lot of time in the gym preparing for these events and really creating a great camaraderie towards a common goal.
Yeah.
So when the time comes to actually compete, they're ready for it.
Yeah, and that's a big part of what the NBA is trying to do. You know, growing this is a lot of these teams practice 2-3 times a week, because so many players have full-time jobs unless they're overseas players. But the Tyrants are all in. They're practicing 4 times a week. But sometimes 4 times a week doesn't prepare you for the experience of that quick back set there to George Mencia. Thumps that one down the line, and that's a great answer out of the timeout there from the Utah Stingers.
Yeah, once again, just kind of relying on that connection, the familiarity that we talked about earlier of playing with one another for so long. Creating a little bit more of an offensive weapon with that quick attack is nice to see.
Great pass by Robinson, tight set to Grasso, but he's able to battle with it, and that's going to be a huge swing. I think there was even a small net there on the side of the Stinger block, but it does not matter when you got Grasso swinging that high, using the high hands.
Yeah, you see a little tweak in Grasso's offense too right there. It was a little bit of an X1 sort of lob.
Now Levaya goes back, able to get a nice turn, stays open to Durkin, opens that left shoulder wide, cuts it back. Mencia with the jump serve, and that one's just gonna find the deep corner.
That was the coffin corner jump serve from
yeah.
Mencia, challenging Grasso. So we're seeing a little, you know, a little one-on-one here. Battle of jersey number 9s between Mencia and Grasso. A couple good swings the last couple of points, and that ace. Let's see if he goes back and challenges him again.
That time he hits the spot that Grasso thought he hit last time, goes long by a foot. Now we're gonna see that rocket from Daniel Jacobs once again. See if he's able to find this one in the court. Last one went just long. There it is indeed, Targus Duquem. Nova Romero goes outside, pulled up. Tyrants keep it alive. Oh no.
Give credit to Robinson for laying out and keeping that ball. It looked to be certainly unplayable. Brought it back for his squad. Unfortunately, Jacobs just couldn't get it back over the net.
And that was one of those mind reader kind of plays. I don't know how Robinson was even in the right zip code.
Yeah.
Now we see the return of number 17. That's going to be Tim Johnson and Quinones to take the helm here with setting. Real Vieira with a great pass, goes backside, Grasso into the double block, picked up by Duquem. And now it's Jorge Mencia's turn. Doug with a one-handed punch there with Quinones off the ceiling, and it's going to be put over. Free ball, and the Stingers are in line. There is Rusty Lavaya, more than happy to take that free ball. Rusty Lavaya, a very, very vocal leader on the side of the Stingers, and not saying anything through the net there, just hyping his guys up, but gets a little warning for just being a little vocal.
Maybe using a few choice words that you know, the young fans in the crowd don't want to hear. So just a gentle reminder from the upper ref on that one.
Good pass by Grasso. It's going to go outside. Johnson goes over the top, dug by Romero, but it's going to be a high ball out to Langlois. Big swing from him into the triple block, and once again, that disciplined hand movement we need to see just is not there.
Yeah, unfortunately from our angle, it's hard to tell whose hands that ball went off of, but you know, give credit to getting 3 blockers up out there.
And now we're going to see Mountie substituted out for Arner de Jesus, the third middle that we've seen rotating through for the Texas Tyrants.
Didn't see De Jesus play yesterday, so it'll be interesting to see how he impacts this game.
And that one's going to go long. Very confident call by Real Vieira there. And that's going to, you know, there was a 3-point lead at one point for the Tyrants, but it's 4-point lead. So it's been shrunk back down from the increasing pressure from the Stingers. Grasso goes short. Back set to Mencia, and there's going to be a tool or a net violation. Take your pick. Either way, the end result is the exact same point for the Stingers.
Perhaps both. Double negatives don't
offset
in this case when you're the one that causes both of them.
Lavaya float. A lot of good movement. Grasso trying to track it down. Real Vieira airs it out. Grasso hustles back. Mencia swings wide, and that's why defense scores points.
Oh, great effort by the Tyrants there just to shovel the ball over, even if it was a free ball. Got a chance for an error coming from the Stingers instead.
More contacts by the other team means more opportunities for error. Well played by the Tyrants. Arner de Jesus sends his first serve long. Good adjustment by Kai, did a little bunny hop and realized if he had to pass that one with his hands, it was probably going out. Durkin with a good float. Middle activation there. We see Lovett and Quinones able to shore up that connection we wanted to see earlier on. Nice 3 route there, killed in the corner.
Tim Johnson now into the back row, not getting a lot of action through that front row series, so let's see how he can contribute from the back row here.
Alex Shmelev returns the 3 in kind. And you know, I know he put one under the net. I want to see Tim Johnson's jump serve.
Jump serve.
So far, he seems to, I don't know if it's a coaching decision or a personal mental one, but when he misses one, he goes to the float, and I think the effectiveness of the jump serve warrants the miss.
Yeah.
Langlois certainly isn't going to pull any punches, and he goes after his.
Yeah, you know Jake's got the green light every single time, whether it's a jump float, jump spin, or kind of the hybrid. But unfortunately, a missed serve late in the game doesn't quite help.
Robinson goes very short and focuses on Shmelev. And that's going to be that hard angle swing that Nova Romero was unable to find in yesterday's match against the Tornadoes.
Well, another one-on-one blocking opportunity, and Romero takes full advantage of that with a hard cross-court winner.
Nice pass by Shmelev there, by the way. Little middle blocker getting involved in the serve receive.
Yeah, well.
And that's right now is not the time of making a missed serve float mistake. Really, the Tyrants are just trying to battle and hold off the ever-oppressing Stingers.
Ever-oppressing Stingers.
Go to the backside, and there's a huge swing. If you're at home and part of the swarm, you're definitely happy to see a big kill like that.
Mencia really making a strong statement here, offensively speaking, and scoring a lot of points for the Stingers, like we said, and probably hitting at a pretty good percentage currently.
Oh, definitely. Goes to the cross-court float now. Riviera with good pass, offset, but that's going to be Grosso. Finds that cheap shot down the line, goes high seam. Langlois not quite able to make that move. You know, both Robinson and Grosso right now are doing a great job. Even when the set's behind them, they adjust, they make good foot changes, and they're able to get swings into the corners, both far and near.
I like this timeout by the Stingers here. They're going to have a quick chat about maybe who's serving, what to expect from that server, who their front row options are, how to kind of create a strategy, game plan, run an offense, a set play, really, if you will, out of this timeout. Once they get that perfect pass, you know, I think Jake Langlois in the back row. Probably look for a quick set to Rusty, probably, or maybe even a set or dump if the set's all the way out. Or Romero, you have Romero in the front row as well.
Or the fact that you've got 6 offensive Stingers, and honestly, any one of them seems like a great option. You cycle through it, and I don't go, that sounds like a better option than any one of them.
Great
a
point.
big route from Jake Langlois sounds like a great way to go as well.
Yeah, great point, great point.
But that right there highlights the difficulty when you're playing this team. Every guy is a threat at every time.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Nick. I mean, and that's the point, right? You have 5 offensive weapons at all time, you know.
You've got 2 passers that have been on national teams, with Nova Romero formerly on the Cuban national team, Jake Langlois on the USA national team. It's a tough time when your best serving target is the libero.
Right.
Quinones now goes after that short float to the libero. Quick set to Lavaya. And hey, you love to see the middle be your go-to in a tough spot.
Yeah, that was a nice pass from Kai. Obviously, run the quick set, get it over fast, right? Get a nice quick point, and we're tied at 24.
Speaks to the quality of setter that Durkin is as well. Takes that one over his head and still able to find Lavaya. Romero uncharacteristically misses that jump serve. You can count the amount of jump serves that he's missed this weekend on one hand, I think.
Yeah, and that's a bad time to miss, unfortunately, at set point, or 24 all.
Especially into the Grosso now, who's already had 2 or 3 aces on the match. Goes for a little bit of a hybrid, but Romero's in system. Good touch block, and there's the net once again.
We're seeing a couple of net violations here from the Tyrants. Unfortunately, poor timing on that front.
Right now, as you get into this late part of the game, it's all about mitigating mistakes and forcing your opponent to make them. Lavaya goes for his float. Johnson goes vertical. Nice dig by Romero. And now Langlois tries to throw it down and able to use the block. We have seen the Tides take the turn. That's going to be a 1-point lead now for the Stingers.
Great defense by the Stingers on Tim Johnson's attacking, right? We saw it earlier with Lavaya getting a nice dig right there on that play as well. I think that's something that the Stunners didn't really have a good game plan to counteract yesterday, right? on Johnson's offensive hitting, right? So the Stingers have clearly seen video or watched Johnson hit. They know where to stand. They know where he likes to hit the ball, and they're doing that right now.
And I think it speaks also to the discipline. One of the hardest things to do as a back row player is not wanting to step into what seems like a big hole or a seam in the block. And sometimes you think that defensive move is going to be the best one. And occasionally it is. But really staying home, staying disciplined, Romero staying in his base defense right there. So when Johnson swings over the top of the block, that's his second or third dig that we've seen from Romero with these big Tyrant swings from the pins.
Yeah, and if the Stingers are able to steal this set after being down 4 at that second technical timeout, curious to see how much of a backbreaker that is to the Tyrants, right? A little bit of a morale killer. And the Stingers being able to possibly sneak out a set win here.
Good pass by Real Vieira. Tim Johnson's the go-to. Covered by Grosso. Set from Quinones to Robinson. Robinson gets it off the platform of Rusty Levaya, but it's over and in. And now Johnson swings that one long and wide. And that's going to be the reversal there by the Stingers to take that 27-25.
Yeah, they were able to pull that off. You know, a nice little comeback win, being down late in that set. Made some nice adjustments on the Stinger side, kept their serves in, right?
Yep.
Put the pressure on the Tyrants, and now they have a commanding 2-0 lead in this first match of our day.
And you know, for the Tyrants to really have a full game mitigating errors, they made some unfortunately timed ones there at the end of the set. They're getting, 3 and 4 net violations a game right now, and I understand it, right? You're trying to go and get ball touches on some of the biggest hitters in the country, not in the gym, in the country. There's a lot of pressure to do so, but at the same time, you can't kill your momentum. You've got to find a way to split the difference, be disciplined, and let your defense play around your block.
Yeah, and if I'm the Tyrants, I'm thinking about maybe going back to my initial starting lineup from the beginning of the match, okay? He inserted De Jesus into the middle.
Yep.
He was sort of a non-factor. He didn't get any sets. He net violated, or he touched the net on 1 or 2 blocks. He was sort of just a non-factor.
Missed the serve.
He missed the serve. That's not a helpful substitution, right?
Yeah, Mountie already got an ace, got 3 or 4 kills so far. I'd like to see that size mismatch come back. Mountie's a big guy. I think he's coming in at 6'8" or so.
Yeah.
Get him back in there.
Not too sure what the thought process was with that substitution. Maybe Mountie just needed a little bit of a rest, and they had that 4-point lead, and Coach Grosso wanted to take advantage of that. But unfortunately, it's a sprint and not a marathon now. And, so they're going to have to put their best 6 players out there, 6-7 players out there, and see what they can do going into this third set here.
And I think one of the other parts that contributes is when we see that block not getting over the net, there might be that Arner de Jesus is a more disciplined blocker, and maybe sometimes that's what they were looking for. Obviously, we didn't see it pan out, but when they're in the gym 4 times a week and you've got a coach as experienced as Grosso, who are we to tell him,
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell exactly what the thought process was with that substitution, but it didn't work. So, there's going to have to be some kind of adjustment made as well, because they were right there. They were right there to win that set with a 4-point lead late in it, and they got to close it out, which they weren't able to do.
Now becomes to have one of the other difficult conversations. We have seen Tim Johnson understandably slowed down significantly. He's hitting against the size of Jake Langlois. The question is, you've got Daniel Jacobs as another option. Do you make that substitution? And as I say it, Daniel Jacobs is now going to get his chance. Tim Johnson visibly not pleased with how things are going for himself right now, but Daniel Jacobs, again, I've said it, he's the 2018 NAIA kill leader. This guy knows exactly how to score. He is no stranger to high-pressure situations. But it's kind of one of those intangibles that stats don't tell you. Sometimes you need someone that's going to be making errors or trading blows to really compete with someone the size of Jake Langlois. So,
yeah, interesting to see what's going to happen here. Rolling the dice a little bit and trying to get a different look. Starting in this rotation with for the Tyrants, matchups look as if it's going to be Jacobs blocking against Langlois now. So, obviously there's a height disadvantage, and there's going to be a jumping disadvantage as well now for the Tyrants without Tim Johnson on the court hitting on the right for him.
Then again, the Langlois hitting pattern is frequently hit hard angle, And if you take that away, he looks for that tip jam. He likes to sweep off hands. So if Jacobs is a little bit more sure-handed and ready to get over the net, that could be the exact adjustment they need to see. And now Duquin with a good pass. Levia tries to tip it over the top. Reset, and it's going to be a free ball coming now. Real Vieira takes with his hands, goes outside, and Grosso one-on-one takes it to Leo Durkin with a great way to start this third set.
Yeah, nice attack line by Grosso going outside of Durkin's right hand, down the line for the point.
There was that nice adjustment from Arner de Jesus, a low type block, able to reset that during the point. Outside, and Langlois bangs that one into the angle.
Seeing some big time swings from both, teams' left side hitters here. If I'm a Stinger, I want to win this match in 3, so I'm gonna, do everything in my power to get that 3-set win.
Yep. Levia with a bullet of a serve, aired out by Grosso, step closed by Jacobs, and he comes under before that ball is down. They're having a little bit of a discussion. Certainly under the net, no discussion about that one, but the discussion right now is did his movement under the net potentially impede any action? A rule that changes pretty regularly on how they call it.
It's a continuation of the play, right? It's not whether or not there was any contact, but it's the continuation of the action,
right,
which is where the infraction is, okay?
Langlois comes across a little inverted slide swing. Arner de Jesus not finding that swing.
Shmelev with a nice block in transition there. He played that previous ball out of the net after it came down, and he was sort of had to hit that ball on 2, but nice blocking move by Shmelev against de Jesus.
The lone lope out there for the Stingers, contributing nicely. Grosso goes against that big double block. Langlois recovers. Romero reverses out to George Mencia. He's able to funnel that one through the hand of Jacobs.
Yeah, nice heads-up play by Mencia. One-footed takeoff from behind the 10-foot line, kind of gives it a little, power tip into Jacobs' unprepared block. Coach Grosso taking his time a little bit, trying to ice the server here. Oh.
Squeaks over the net, but Vieira is ready for it. And there's the turn from Daniel Jacobs. Absolutely hammers the line, and there's the offensive adjustment that the Tyrants were looking for with that substitution.
Yeah, nice play by Jacobs. Great swing. Obviously, the team likes to see that. Again, kickstart a little emotion, a little fire for the Tyrants. Unfortunately, Grosso just lets all that air out of that balloon and misses his serve.
Now at a 5-2 lead, we're seeing the Stingers establish an early presence and pressure. But Robinson returning in a way that we saw him kind of disappear there in the second set. Yep. Kickstarts himself as well. Lovett returns to the court with Arner de Jesus, someone that's not had some big serving runs just yet. See if he can make something happen. Shmelev with a diving pass. Langlois sets it over short. Quinones goes right back to Jacobs.
Oh.
Reset by Mencia, but Mencia nets with his elbow as he reset that ball off of his block. Great call by our guys in blue.
Well, net violation. I believe it was on Shmelev. There's no real argument, but
no, it was on Mencia's elbow.
It was.
As
Gotcha.
He reset.
Gotcha.
We're split. Where Matt's got the right side of the net, I've got the left, so we both have some nice different views.
Oh.
And there's the bang over the top, Daniel Jacobs. That offensive spark. And sometimes there's something to be said for maybe giving up some blocking advantage to increase offensive pressure. And if he's able to do that, maybe give a little bit of that uptick in energy here for the Tyrants.
Yeah, being a spark plug for his team. Few too many service errors right now by the Tyrants. They've created some nice momentum, but then they just give it right back to the Stingers on a missed serve.
Closing up a 3-point gap, though, is certainly a good spot to be in. Nice pass by Grosso, high in the middle of the court. And they're relying on Jacobs. Romero recovers that one, and now George tips over the top. Pancaked and kept alive. Grosso step close. Swings in the corner and dug by Langlois. Now a big swing from Langlois, but he is over the net, or over the line in transition.
Yeah.
And the scrap there from the Tyrants pays off in bounds as they're able to make that work for them.
There may have been an inadvertent whistle now. I'm not too sure what's happening. There's some conversation going on. I heard the whistle. Thought the down ref, I don't think the down ref can call, blow the whistle to stop the play on a back row violation. And instead of giving the signal to the up ref, I think he accidentally hit the button of the whistle, because we're using electronic whistles here.
Either way, I'd love to see that move coming through. I thought that ball was about to fall between the Tyrants there, and we saw the pancake hand get thrown out to extend that rally. Great communication as well between Grosso and Jacobs, two guys that are both more than happy to hit that third swing, neither of them with any intention to free ball it. And Grosso makes sure to get around that with the step close.
Yeah, once again, the opportunity to get their feet to the ball. The set was high enough, they were able to get their feet step close to it and put some good wood on it. The one that Grosso hit, Jake Langley was kind of waiting for it, so he was well prepared, got a nice dig. Let's see what the ruling is here. We're going to have captains come in. I think we're going to see a replay, unfortunately.
Either way, though, honestly, right now, whether he was over or not, because had he been over, I think they would have made this call. If it gets the replay, I think it's still good for the Tyrants. Yeah. I think it's still honestly okay for the Tyrants, because if he wasn't over, that was a point.
That was, yeah, it's actually good for the Tyrants, yeah, for sure.
Sometimes those quick calls are tough to make, so glad our referee team is able to work together, get it sorted out, and get us back underway here. Langlois gets the overpass, though, and Shmelev swings. Jacobs almost able to scoop that one.
Yeah, charging in for the dig, almost gets it, but
puts the helmet on. And
yeah.
Langlois serves that one long, so Tyrants definitely still in striking range and looking to battle. Jacobs, I can't say it enough, big jump server looking to hammer this one home. And hammer home he does, the great pass by Duquem.
Oh, nice swing by Mencia.
It was, honestly, Robinson, that was a huge block move there by Robinson.
Yeah. Mencia, though, taking advantage of the one-on-one block and goes hard cross court for a nice kill.
It's a really tough spot to be in, right? And that's, I mean, you know better than I do as a middle blocker, but when you have this many threats, there's no safe bets. You can't exclude anyone from the potential threat here. So.
Yeah, the speed of volleyball right now offensively, it's got to be super challenging to be a middle blocker, because you've got either a front row setter with a bick and a front row hitter, a quick hitter, and then you've got the pin hitters where the speed of the offense is so fast now that, I mean, you got four guys coming at you plus a front row setter. It's like, your reaction times have got to be literally split second.
Yeah, and even then that's not fast enough sometimes.
No, it's not.
Half the time when you're trying to block the bick, it's almost like you have to, you tap block, just barely put your wrists over to respect the middle, and then you have to try and jump again. Or some of these tall middles, like the untouchable 7-footer there, some guys like that might be able to actually jump once and block both. So
Yeah. You see that every once in a while.
Just speaks to the speed of so many of these offenses, though. And if you want to see what a true bick speed looks like, take a look at Jake Langlois over the top there. He is coming quick.
Yeah, he's a big boy, too, to be hitting a back row bick like that, as fast and in tempo that him and Leo Durkin have established from all their time, playing together.
Do you know, was Durkin the setter when Langlois was there?
I don't know.
And I'm not sure where all the year overlap occurs for those guys. Shmelev now hitting that aggressive float once again, and Quinones tracks it down. Daniel Jacobs more than happy to take a swing, covers himself, and now quick swing out to Robinson, hand dug by Langlois. And now Langlois hits that exact same bick that we were talking about, but no block home except for Robinson trying to make a play on it.
Yeah, we didn't see a lot of the bick in transition from Jake early on in this match. We're seeing that connection get established here, and if you're a Stingers fan, you like to see that because he's pretty terminal out of the back row in that situation.
Another good float serve. And Jacobs rolls over the top, taking advantage of the back row middle. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to the Utah Stingers middles. Now that we're seeing this develop, Rusty Levaya and Alex Shmelev have both been creating massive runs with their float serves. And when you've got two middles hitting that high point of contact, it's really a great advantage from the back line. Short serve to Duquem, and now there's the one-on-one block that they've been waiting for. Step close from Romero, and once again, the inability for the Tyrants to get over the net is getting aggravating for not only us, but many of the Tyrants.
And Coach Grasso has got to be very frustrated with his team's blocking right now. You know, they're going to get back to Texas and do some serious block defense work in practice.
Now we see Baugh come in as a serving sub. Jacobs goes hard angle and able to beat him.
Too much heat from Jacobs, cross court. Baugh wasn't quite ready for it.
You know, I love seeing a guy like that has, you know, he's able to come off the bench. He's seeing a lot of play time through that double sub, but gets in here, gets involved early, finding multiple kills in this start here in the third set. Hand pass by Romero. Langlois on the D ball. Oh, brought back by Robinson once again, and Quinones tries to track it down. Robinson is just putting out a stellar effort. No ball hits the ground anywhere near him.
Right, yeah, great effort by Robinson. We saw him do it in that last set as well. Unfortunately, the rest of his teammates didn't follow him, and when he got it up, there was nobody there to shovel that ball over.
11-8 with a 3-point lead here now. Stingers might be ready to try and run away with this one if the Tyrants aren't ready to answer back. But Anovo Romero lets them off the hook with another untimely service error.
Yeah, unfortunate time for that service error. Would have been nice to get a 4-point lead going if they had. But Romero's been producing pretty well for the Stingers today versus yesterday, so I think coaching staff should be pleased with it.
Short serve to Baugh. And Langlois goes over the top, but no block touch. That's going to go to the Tyrants. Okay, again, love talking serving strategy. That's a perfect serve. So the short serve by Quinones here brings Chandler Baugh out of serve receive, completely isolates Levaya and any potential back row swing there from Romero. So
also makes it difficult for Durkin because the pass is coming from behind him.
And now the target gets Langlois, who's got to set that one over. Saved by Real Vieira and a little bit of miscommunication, but free ball back. Durkin with a one-handed slap. Romero on the D ball. Quinones with a great set facing the net, and Grasso gets the tool. A lot of miscommunications, but I mean, that's a really scrappy rally.
Yeah,
you got to do what you can.
It wasn't the prettiest rally we've seen this morning between both teams, actually. Jake and Leo maybe trying to get a little too cute on what they're doing offensively, and then some miscommunication on the Tyrant side, but Grasso was able to be terminal and use the block for the point.
Serve goes short to Langlois. Durkin goes right back to him. Dug by Real Vieira. No second touch to bring that one back in. Now, I didn't get a chance to dive into this a little bit, but that was not only a serving substitution, bringing Baugh into the court. We were questioning why he wasn't wearing blue as the second libero. He's actually staying in back row for George Mencia, allowing Romero not to pass, and Romero's now hitting D balls.
Yeah, nice adjustment by them. I like that strategy.
Jacobs blocked back into his legs. A great move to the right side there by Leo Durkin and Alex Shmelev. That lead is only at 2 points right now, so if the Tyrants are able to battle out of Rusty Levaya early, they're going to be in a good spot. But
Shmelev with the overpass, taking out Coach Grasso. Watch out, Coach.
But that's exactly what we were talking about. Rusty Levaya once again scoring a huge point, trying to save his guys. This LED wall in front of us is definitely hard and already scraped up a couple guys. So making sure Jacobs didn't go headlong into that one.
Yeah. All right, so the Tyrants find themselves down by 3, you know, down by no sets to 2, right, in the match. And Nick, what do you think they need to do here to maybe kind of right the ship and create some momentum here as we're halfway through this third set?
You know, I think the big surprise to me is there's not actually been any major problems for them finding ways to score. A big effort to them. They're playing great defense, long rallies, and finding points. I think the biggest thing right now is find a way to shore up your serve receive. The more that they're able to just put, I'm not talking about in front of the 10-foot line even, but put it high in the middle of the court. Just save your guys a little bit of breath. Let Quinones run less of a marathon right now in setting that offense. They have a lot of guys that are setting because Quinones can't even get to the second ball. So it's the second outside back row setting a lot of the other guys right now. So if they're able to kind of dial that in, that's going to be a big, great start for their comeback here. Jacob swings deep into the corner. Quinones gets about as deep into the hands as he can there, but able to release that one clean with no call. Yeah. George Mencia making his return. That had Ba playing middle back defense, so right now they want to see Romero swapping back to the middle back defense.
Yep.
Which returns Romero to the service line. Grosso targeting the left side of the court, likely with his jump serve. There it is, goes after Duquem. Backside, Mencia on the D-ball returns, dug by Grosso. Quinones throws it back, and Jacobs jams it deep. One-hand dig by Duquem. Bumps it outside. Another dig by Grosso. Now he takes his turn hitting the Bic, and that one's gonna hit the line. Grosso refuses to die. The man on fire right now, back-to-back digs, and ends the point with that quick backside Bic attack.
Out of transition, no less, at the back Bic. You know, Jake didn't get his hands up over the net to block on that one, unfortunately. Kind of got maybe caught off by surprise that that was the set that they threw up for Grosso.
And there's a miss, but again, he's got to be aggressive. He's making those big moves. Maybe a little gassed from that last point still. But the Tyrants are able to bring that lead down to a 2-point, and a side out now is going to bring that to 1. So big focus on the serve receive. Outside to Robinson. Wide angle, and there was a great block from the side of Shmelev. We had a first-class view of, he was very penetrated on that. We keep talking about it.
Really disciplined on all sides of the Stingers. Their block formation, the guys on defense were in the right spots. They knew that ball was out of bounds as it came off of his hand, right?
Yep.
And they didn't even have to question it. They just let it sail out of bounds wide.
Coming into the second technical timeout here at 16-13. Tyrants have now made 3 runs where they've closed a 3-point gap this game. Unfortunately, right as they close that gap, they're not quite able to hold on to that lead.
They can't get that 4th point, right?
Yeah.
Or overtake the lead.
Or just hold that new score line. They kind of, the slack gets let right back out. So we'll see if they're able to kind of mentally dial it back in, use the experience of Grosso, the hustle from Robinson, and the firepower from Jacob. And
yeah, they're going to have to manufacture some kind of, momentum or excitement if they want to earn these 3 points, but then score a 4th to, take the lead back.
And right now, I think that the Stingers are really relying on their middles. The pressure that they have applied throughout this match, there's been some good swings from the pins, but the service pressure really, it's really been impressive when I watch how the service receive is being forced to handle it from the Tyrants. Good pass by Real Vieira. Jacobs goes up with that big hammer and goes off the block for the tool.
Yeah, Jacobs has some nice range. He's been able to get some good kills on the out-of-system ones. Obviously, in system, he's a good jumper. He takes the ball at a high point, and he gives the Tyrants a different look at that opposite position.
Float taken by Duquem. Tip over the top by Mencia and reset by Lovett. Tip over the top, that's going to take Durkin out. Oh, and that one's jammed right back down by Lovett. Smart play by Robinson there to take the setter, Leo Durkin, out with the tip. It was a kind of an easy tip, but at the end of the day, you can't touch the ball twice in a row.
You're right. Here they come, pitter-patter, knocking on the door here.
Arner de Jesus goes short. There's that back quick again, but Quinones digs that one and step close from Robinson, goes for that throw. Once again, picking on the hands of Leo Durkin. Robinson's found his pony.
Little game within the game here going on between Durkin and Robinson.
And that's going to time 16 for the 4th time this match, or this set. The Tyrants are able to close up that 3-point gap. Big swing from Shmelev out of the middle and mishandled by Kaiju Quem. And for the first time, the Tyrants take the lead.
Durkin's got to get out of the way and let his libero pass that ball. First contact.
Nice adjustment. We see Lovett get over the net. We've been dying to see it. He's making the right move with his feet, but he's got to make his hand movements better.
Yeah.
And that was finally it. Gets a nice block touch on Shmelev.
Yeah, nice block back against the middle hitter there. So he didn't actually have to move. He just put his hands over the net, right? So, you know, credit to where credit's due. That was a nice move and a block back, and it was terminal. So, but we need to see him make some good blocking moves, you know, laterally as well.
Yep. Tyrants got to keep managing their energy levels here, though. It's hard to go up and down. Got to try to find that even keel, and that's what makes the Stingers such an oppressive opponent, is there's so many guys that have been there before. You've got the experience between national players, guys that played at BYU, and if you follow men's NCAA volleyball at all, you can't name a year that BYU is not a top 5 threat and someone, you know, a name to be considered as a contender for the title. So definitely guys coming through one of the best programs in the country.
And you think about some of the high-level matches that these guys have played as well.
Great dig there by Quinones. And Alex Shmelev showcasing that huge block once again. Langlois an aggressive serve. Riviera there airs it out in the middle of the court. That's what we want to see. Back set to, ooh, uncharacteristic miss from Jacobs. That was a great set coming all the way across the court. It was a good set.
It was a good set. I was just thinking, I don't know if I would have set that ball and given Robinson a chance to swing because it was so far over, but good connection, just missed the court.
Service short. Grosso picks it up. Quinones out of the net. Overpasses. Great move by Lovett to reset it. And now it goes that back out to Romero. Overhand dig by Grosso. Tracked down by Jacobs. And it's going to be swung over by Grosso, who's now on the ground. Tyrants are all out of sorts. And a back swing that funnels down Robinson.
Well played by the Stingers. It was sort of a set play out of the free ball. They knew what to do, what they wanted to run right there. And Sia sort of with a little fake back quick and then a step out to create some space that Robinson couldn't seal the net.
And here's that 3-point leash coming right back as the Stingers have that 2-point lead. Great set to prevent that from going over. And it's going to be knuckle punched over there by Durkin. Grosso on the bick, and there it is. A little craftiness. Alex Shmelev, you know, didn't go the point of the way of the Stingers, but he's playing some great defense and doing some things off the net.
Yeah, good all-around contributions from Shmelev. Keeping the ball off the floor, you know, extending the rally. Durkin giving it that sort of unconventional knuckle poke over the net, like you said. Well played by Grosso.
Great swing there by Jacobs. And that one doesn't clear the net. Finds the top of the tape, so George Mencia makes sure to go check that height real quick, get recalibrated.
Yeah, and when Mencia doesn't get a good approach or the set's not quite in his window, he just kind of runs up to the ball and tips it over, and unfortunately, he must be he was in a divot or found the high end of the net on that one.
Jacobs misses that one, but once again, you know, a serving run that's able to create a little bit of a real point run, and now we're seeing that late game substitution once again that the Tyrants love so much. They're going to be using it in the reverse now as Afaji comes in alongside of Tim Johnson.
This is going to be interesting to see. I mean, obviously great timing, but Tim Johnson's been sitting for probably about a full set now.
I think he's ready to get maybe get that set back, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
Afaji goes out to him early, and that one's going to be blocked back in a way that's a little concerning. And right now, if you're the side of the Stingers, I would feel quite confident that this set is going back to Robinson.
Yeah, I agree with you, Nick. Again, I like the substitution, but to go to Tim Johnson right out of the gate, unfortunately, against that block, I would have liked to have seen him go to Robinson right there too. In that instance, force the back against the flow set. You know, kind of elongate the court a little bit and make sure the Stingers blockers have to make a good read and move laterally to get it kind of stacked over there.
Yeah, and that's this is one of those tough kind of mismatches. We're seeing the experience of the middles on the side of the Stingers really prove to be one of the big variances between these two teams, and just the contributions there. It's kind of one of those, when a match comes down to 2 or 3 points, that little difference we're seeing right now is one that the offensive difference it's starting to count.
Yeah.
Shmelev out of this timeout, seeing if he can apply some good pressure once again. Off the tape, good pass by Real Vieira. Going right back to Tim Johnson, and that's the swing he wanted. So
yeah, it was a little bit more in system. High wrist away swing cross court for the winner past Shmelev. Not able to control that one off the block.
Always great to see that awareness. We talk about it. Know where your middles are. Short serve there, but too high, and Duquesne puts them in system. Robinson swings that sharp angle, and I think that Real Vieira is a little too far into the court. Romero really wants to swing into that 12-foot, that blue line that we see there on the court.
Yeah, he takes a pretty aggressive swing approach line, as we've seen in the last 3 days.
Nice pass by Real Vieira. Back set to Johnson, and Johnson's their guy, and you love to see it. He's battling back. A tough swing there that had me a little concerned. Maybe he was going to come back into the court the way he left it.
Yeah.
But he refuses to go down the same way. Good adjustments.
Tyrants need to make a stop here, earn a real point, get a good block, create a couple more ticks of momentum.
Good deep float. Langlois airs it out, nice and easy. And there's the Bick, tips over the top. And that one's going to go down a little bit awkward in how that falls, but no back row player there to pick that one up.
Yeah, a little bit weird. A little tightrope action there by Jake.
(23-21). Enovo Romero had some serving trouble so far this set. 2 missed serves. Now is the time, though. Just keep this one in. Let Rusty Lavaya do his thing. Set up a big block. Free balled over by Grosso. Durkin goes back to Rusty. Rusty swings wide.
Oh,
nope,
we got
nope,
two
he gets the
touches. Yeah. And here we are, match point, Nick.
You know, this has been a great match to start our final day here, and even if it ends in a 3-0, it's certainly not lacking exciting points from both teams.
Yeah.
Romero there with the missed serve. It's a cardinal sin, but he's also extended their lead, gets them another reel while he's back there, so still have a little bit of a cushion to work with, and now we see the firepower of Daniel Jacobs and the steady hands of Quinones return to the court.
What do you think? Quick attack or to set to Jake for the match?
I think you go Jake Langlois. Let the man feast. There it is, plain and simple. Stroke that one down the line, make it easy.
Nice call by you, Nick. Nice call by you.
All right, well, that's gonna do it. We see a good win there, and that's gonna be, you know, a tough one when the newly formed Texas Tyrants are in a situation where their first weekend in the league as a new team, they take on the Utah Stingers, the Las Vegas Ramblers, and the OC Stunners. That's number 1, 2, and 3 seeds. That's as hard of a weekend as anyone could hope to have. They were still able to lock it down, show NVA fans what they're here to do. So a stellar showing, really, and an exciting one nonetheless. So that's a great first weekend, but I am joined now by our guy of the match, Mr. Durkin. Absolutely stellar performance.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was fun.
I mean, look, the big thing with a Stingers roster that has so many weapons, it puts you in a position that you've got to run the ship. You've got to run the show. How do you make decisions like that?
I mean, obviously, I just start making decisions off the first pass. Like, the pass dictates a lot of the decisions I'm going to make. I obviously have a strategy based on the blockers that I have on the other side. So once the ball gets passed, I know what my options are, and I just kind of go from there.
That's such an important thing for so many setters to realize, that your peripheral vision, you're tracking what's going on, not only from the passing side, the blocking side, but you do it so effectively. Do you have kind of a ranking or a preset in your mind in terms of like who your hitters are in what situation, or?
Sometimes, but then other times you kind of just have to go off feel. Just you think you maybe feel a presence of maybe a wing blocker next to you, and so you have him beat. So you kind of just go off that. Other times, I know Jake's my guy this rotation, or no matter what, I'm going to Mency. You kind of have, sometimes you make some decisions ahead of time, but obviously everything gets neutralized the second the ball gets passed. So like if it's out of system, well, then I'm gonna have to deal from there. Or if it's a 3-point pass versus a 4-point pass, then I'm gonna make a decision based off that.
It makes a lot of sense. And now you guys have ended your weekend 3-0. Great start, definitely picking up right where you left off in November. But how do you guys feel? Because sometimes when you put it down at the end of the day, it's a number, it's 3-0. But that may not reflect exactly. Are you guys pleased with the performance this weekend? What are your thoughts? What's your takeaway?
I think, first of all, we're just trying to have a lot of fun too. We're a bunch of old guys. So we're just here to just play some high-level volleyball. It's fun. But yeah, I don't think we're necessarily really gelling yet. Some of the guys, are off. We're all working. We're older guys. We all have jobs and stuff. So it's, you slowly kind of find your system now. And then obviously we had like Mency and Romero who came in just this weekend. Yeah. They just jumped in. And so obviously, Romero and Mency, I got to pick up that connection because they haven't been in the gym with us for the last, 6 months or so. Yep. So. But it's all going to smooth itself out over the season. So
definitely, and I'm excited that we actually have an NVA season now to look forward to as COVID starts to kind of curtail a bit. We've got 2, and for you guys, I'm sure we're going to see 3 more events. Leo, I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much for giving us an inside look. If you guys haven't already, be sure to check out the Utah Stingers on Instagram and join the Swarm, right? That's what it is, the fan base? Yeah, I believe that's what you guys have dubbed the fan base. So check out the Swarm. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Great match.
Thank you.
Guys, tune in shortly hereafter. Team Freedom will take on the OC Stunners. We'll see you back here shortly.